They always seemed like the kind of couple whose story was written in the stars. Country music legend Keith Urban and Hollywood's golden icon Nicole Kidman. For nearly 2 decades, their love looked untouchable, a bond that weathered fame, distance, and personal struggles. But just 3 months after celebrating their 19th wedding anniversary, everything shifted, and the world was stunned as news broke of their separation. Overnight, whispers of betrayal, heartbreak, and Keith's emotional breakdowns on live TV swirled through headlines, leaving fans both heartbroken and curious what really happened, and what was behind Keith's reaction that had everyone talking. To understand how such a strong couple reached this point, you have to go back to where it all began, because their love story truly did start like a movie. On the 15th of January, 2005, Nicole and Keith met by chance backstage at the glamorous Good Day USA Gala in Los Angeles, an event honoring Australians making their mark in America. Nicole was already a global star, an Oscar-winning actress admired for her elegance, while Keith was quickly rising in Nashville as a country singer with a soulful, unmistakable voice. That night they exchanged smiles and numbers, and though Nicole admitted she was immediately charmed by him, Keith didn't call for 4 months. On stage he was confident, but in matters of the heart he hesitated, unsure he was ready for Nicole's world of cameras and red carpets. Fate, however, had other plans. When he finally gathered the courage to call, they began spending time together in New York City, where Nicole lived, and their connection blossomed slowly but powerfully. One unforgettable moment came on her 38th birthday at 5 in the morning, when Keith knocked on her door holding a bouquet of gardenias, her favorite flowers. That romantic gesture made Nicole realize he was the one. By May 2006, they were engaged, a fact Nicole confirmed during a United Nations event, and just a month later, on the 25th of June 2006, they married in a candlelit ceremony at St. Patrick's Estate overlooking Sydney's coastline. Nicole walked down the aisle on the arm of her father, Nicole Kidman, to the bridal chorus, while her children with Tom Cruise, Isabella, and Connor watched on, Isabella even serving as part of the bridal party. Keith, dressed in a simple black suit, couldn't take his eyes off her, and later that night, he serenaded her with "Making Memories of Us," capturing the magic of their day. Guests received silver Tiffany clocks engraved with the words, "A Moment in Time." 25th June 2006, Nicole and Keith. After a blissful honeymoon in French Polynesia, real life came knocking sooner than they expected. 4 months into their marriage, Nicole discovered Keith was struggling with alcohol addiction. Rather than turn away, she staged an intervention out of love and determination to protect their future together. Keith entered rehab while his album Love, Pain, and the Whole Crazy Thing was released, its title unintentionally capturing that turbulent chapter. After 3 months of treatment, he returned to her, and the two reunited shyly at a Hollywood party, choosing to turn away from the noise of celebrity life and start fresh in Tennessee. They moved to a quiet farm outside Nashville, vowing to live like ordinary neighbors, riding horses, grocery shopping, and enjoying a peace Nicole had never experienced before. Their happiness grew when Nicole became pregnant. Keith, already bonded with Isabella and Connor, was thrilled at the thought of fatherhood again. On the 7th of July 2008 in Nashville, they welcomed their daughter, Sunday Rose. Keith shared his joy with fans online, calling her a blessing, and Nicole fondly remembered how Keith had flown from Los Angeles to Australia just to attend her first ultrasound, stayed for 6 hours to hear their baby's heartbeat, then flew straight back for a performance, a gesture that embodied his devotion. Nicole also revealed that after marrying Keith, she burned most of her old diaries, wanting to build their future on honesty rather than the past. In December 2010, they welcomed another daughter, Faith Margaret, born via surrogate in Nashville. Their joy was immense, but sorrow struck in September 2014 when Nicole's father, Anthony, died suddenly after a fall. Keith dropped everything to be by her side, singing Amazing Grace at the funeral through trembling emotion, showing how deeply they carried one another through life's highs and lows. Keith often credited Nicole with saving his life, saying that before her, he didn't fully understand love or peace, and that she helped him overcome addiction. In 2016, he released The Fighter, a song inspired by Nicole, whose light-hearted music video showed the couple playfully singing together, melting hearts around the world. They built their marriage on small but meaningful habits, like advice from apiarist to always kiss hello and kiss goodbye, a ritual they said kept them connected even during chaotic times. Fame brought both sparkle and humor to their relationship. When Keith released Gemini and described Nicole as a maniac in the bed but a brainiac in the head, she laughed, saying she'd rather that than be called boring. For years they seemed unstoppable. Family Christmas videos, public appearances hand in hand, and their daughters popping up at the Golden Globes. In 2023, they looked radiant at both the Oscars and the Met Gala. Keith even played a clip from their wedding during a concert, telling fans it felt right to share a piece of that moment. But behind those flawless smiles, subtle cracks were forming, not from scandal, but from the quiet weight of time, fame, and distance. At first, the changes were almost invisible, slightly longer silences, fewer shared public appearances, a little more time spent apart as their careers kept them constantly in motion between Australia, Nashville, and Hollywood. What once felt thrilling, late-night flights, quick reunions, handwritten notes left between tours and film sets, slowly became exhausting. Their rhythm, which had always found a way to sync back together, started to fray under the pressure of two very demanding lives. By 2024, fans began to pick up on the shift. Keith's performances grew more emotional, sometimes even breaking down mid-song when he sang about love and loss, while Nicole, always private, appeared at fewer of his shows. Rumors quietly circulated, but both remained silent, choosing to keep what they saw as sacred away from gossip. Behind closed doors, though, they tried to repair the distance. They went to counseling, took breaks, cleared schedules, canceled appearances, and genuinely tried to find the thread that had held them together for so long. But something intangible had changed, a quiet emotional gap that only they could truly feel. And then, on the 30th of September, 2025, their representatives confirmed what many had feared. After nearly 20 years together, Nicole Kidman and Keith Urban were separating. For fans who had watched them overcome addiction, fame, and the relentless spotlight, it was shocking. Some believed they had simply grown apart over time. Others pointed to the strain of keeping up a perfect image in public. A few whispered that while love still existed, they'd lost the shared rhythm that had once anchored them. Both Keith and Nicole, however, continued to speak about one another with deep respect. Keith often said Nicole made him into the man he always wanted to be, and Nicole said Keith taught her what real love looked like. Their love didn't disappear. It transformed. Nicole turned her focus toward their children and her production work, while Keith channeled his emotions into music, avoiding bitterness and never blaming her publicly. Not long after the separation news broke, an old video resurfaced that felt almost prophetic. It was from June 2024, during the 49th American Film Institute Life Achievement Award ceremony honoring Nicole. Keith, dressed in black, had taken the stage to give a speech. Instead of focusing solely on her career, he opened up about their early marriage, admitting with a trembling voice that just months after their wedding, his addiction nearly ruined everything, and that Nicole had chosen to stay. She chose love, he said softly. The audience was silent. Some wiped away tears. Even Nicole, usually composed at public events, was visibly emotional as she watched him. The speech was honest, raw, and full of gratitude. After the separation, fans shared the clip everywhere, calling it heartbreaking and almost like a warning from the past. A man remembering how close he'd once come to losing the woman who had saved him. Then came Keith's first public performance after the split. On his High and Alive World Tour stop in Bristow, Virginia, fans noticed he wasn't wearing his wedding ring. During his performance of The Fighter, the love letter he had written to Nicole back in 2016, He changed a lyric that shocked the crowd. Instead of singing, "When they're trying to get to you, baby, I'll be the fighter," he sang, "When they're trying to get to you, Maggie, I'll be your guitar player," referring to Maggie Baugh, the 25-year-old musician touring with his band. Maggie looked surprised on stage and later posted the clip with the caption, "Did he just say that?" followed by 2 shocked emojis. The moment went viral within hours, with fans debating whether it was playful improvisation, something Keith often did, or a meaningful change. The missing ring, the altered lyric, and the timing of the divorce announcement made the performance hit differently. Maggie wasn't at the next show in Hershey, Pennsylvania. Natalie Stovall filled in, but the speculation didn't slow down. Through it all, Keith remained silent, letting his music and stage presence speak louder than any interview could. As the tour continued through October and into the following year, each performance carried an emotional weight that fans could feel. Meanwhile, Nicole made her first public appearance since the news broke on the 4th of October, 2025 at the American Foundation for AIDS Research Gala in Dallas, Texas. She wasn't there to talk about her marriage. She was there to raise money for HIV/AIDS research, a cause she has long supported. Dressed in an elegant black off-the-shoulder gown, she stepped on stage with quiet strength, honoring Taylor Sheridan with a heartfelt speech. Observers noticed her ring finger was bare, but her presence radiated calm. She smiled warmly at guests, spoke with young activists and researchers, and carried herself with dignity. It was her way of showing that life goes on, kindness endures, and purpose can help heal even deep wounds. In the end, Nicole openly admitted that Keith would always be the love of her life. Their story didn't end in bitterness. It simply changed shape. They chose to remain united through respect and shared parenthood, raising Sunday Rose and Faith Margaret with stability, warmth, and love. Even if they now lived separate lives, the world may never know every detail of what ended their marriage, but what's clear is that their love was real, deep, and unforgettable. For nearly 20 years, Keith Urban and Nicole Kidman built something that inspired millions, a story of passion, resilience, and devotion. And even though their paths have diverged, their journey remains a powerful reminder that some love stories don't end. They simply evolve.